Hi there, I'm Mrs. Turlop, and today we're going to be thinking about the 16 habits of mind. Now, before we jump into this, I want to remind you that a habit is something that you do all the time. Not all habits are good, not all habits are bad, but a habit is something that you do often or frequently or repetitively. And so today we're going to be looking at the 16 different habits that you can practice in your mind that will help you grow and achieve your goals. So, this information is coming to you today from two really exciting researchers, Mr. Arthur Costa and Bena Kallick. And these 16 habits of mind, they're life-changing skills that everyone needs for problem solving, adapting to changes, and lifelong learning. And if you want to learn more about these habits, these two authors wrote a book, and this book is called Learning and Leading with the Habits of Mind, 16 Essential Characteristics for Success. So I wanted to make sure that you had that information before you learn about their 16 habits that you can have in your mind. So the very first habit that they recommend we should have is this: learning continuously. Learning continuously sounds like a mantra in your mind of saying something like, I have so much more to learn. Now, having humility and pride when you admit you don't know something is hard to do at times, and like putting your pride aside or admitting that you're wrong. But guess what? We're all learners. We're all learners. Teachers, students, adults, children, grandparents, everyone is a learner. So when you are practicing learning continuously, you are also resisting complacency. What that means is that you aren't just okay keeping things the same. You're willing to try new ideas, test things out. You're willing to be wrong, make mistakes, and learn, and just learn. So, the second habit of mind that's recommended is this: gathering data through all of your senses. So, a mantra for this would sound like, use my natural pathways. So think about the senses that you have. You have the sense of sight, smell, hearing, taste, and physical touch. Now, each one of us as individuals has different abilities or strengths when it comes to using those five senses. But we can use these five senses, or the senses that we do have, to pay attention to the world around us and gather data. And again, use those senses of taste, touch, smell, your hearing, and your vision in whatever capacity you have. Another way to build on these 16 habits is habit number 3, thinking about your thinking. Now, the scientific word for this is called metacognition, and a mantra would be, I know my thinking, or I know my way of knowing. So be aware of your own thoughts. Be aware of the strategies that you use to help you. Practice identifying your feelings. Talk about your actions and how they have an effect on others. Think about why you are doing the things you are doing, and start practicing admitting it to yourself and maybe even admitting it to others. But thinking about thinking is a great way to grow your brain. Fourth strategy that is recommended with the habits of mind is this: applying past knowledge to new situations. A mantra for this could sound like, use what I know, or use what I've learned. Or maybe you've even heard of this scientific word, schema. Schema is another way of saying, that's my background knowledge, or I'm using something that I've already learned. So when you are applying past knowledge to a new situation or using your schema, what you are doing is you are taking what you learned maybe a few days ago, a few minutes ago, a few weeks ago, and you are helping your brain use that knowledge in a brand new situation. That strengthens your brain and gives your brain new ways of testing out problems, finding creative solutions, and maybe even make a mistake in the process. But guess what? Every mistake that you make is just another opportunity to apply that thinking later on. Now, strategy number 5 is thinking interdependently. So when I hear the words inter and interdependently, I think about things working together, and that's exactly a mantra that you can tell in your brain. You can tell yourself, work together, or find people who can help me, or find people who can support me. When you work with other people, when you work interdependently, what you're doing is you're being flexible and open to hearing new ways of doing things, new ways of solving problems, and finding solutions. There is no way that you can do absolutely everything in life without anybody, without any help. So, the sooner you learn to look for the helpers and listen to those who have experience, the better. So, practice thinking interdependently. Here's the next one: questioning and problem solving. This could be your internal voice saying something like, how do you know? You being, how do you yourself know? Or when you're listening to other people, think about, how do they know? So when you're questioning, you're allowing your brain to be curious. You don't always have to let that question out of your mouth, but if you do choose to question, or you do want to know how someone knows that, where'd they learn it, come about it with that questioning and curious attitude. There's a big difference between me looking at you and going, how do you know that? Or, oh my gosh, how do you know that? Because one sounds like I'm mad or I don't believe you. Whereas the other one, where did you learn that? That's calm, that's gentle, and that's inviting someone to tell you about their experience. But when we know where things come from, where ideas come from, how things work, that allows our brain, remember, to find problems and solve. Another strategy for us, for our 16 habits, is taking responsible risks. This could look like you adventuring out in the world, or telling yourself, oh, I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to go on an adventure. And being adventuresome looks like putting yourself into that area of safe, responsible, respectful risk-taking. That could look like you asking a question, like we just practiced. It could look like you trying a new skill. It could be you asking for help. Sometimes asking for help is a big enough risk. But as you try new things constantly, what you are doing is you are, again, inviting opportunities into your brain to learn, to practice, to build on that schema, to apply new ideas. Yeah, take those responsible risks. Another habit of mine is persisting. This could look like you practicing even if it's hard, even if it takes a while, even if it's not exactly what you would want to be doing right now. This could look like you telling yourself, stick to it. So when you persevere or you keep on going when something's hard, what you are doing is you are training your brain to remain focused. You are allowed to daydream. People do it. But if you are practicing a skill repetitively, you're building that habit, you're building that muscle memory, so your hands, your mind, your voice remembers how to do it. It helps you become stronger in that skill, and it allows it to start to flow from you. Think back to when you were a beginning reader or a beginning writer. At first, you had to think about, okay, I've got to move my pencil this way, or this is what this letter says. But as time went on, the more you practiced, the more you were able to just do it automatically. One of these habits of mine is persisting. So look for ways to reach your goal and do not give up. Another habit of mine could be responding with wonderment and awe. What this looks like is having fun figuring stuff out. Find the awesomeness in the world, find the mysterious in the world, and be intrigued. Be intrigued with the wow, the beauty. It's okay to not know how things work. It's okay to just be in awe of something and just look at it and go, wow, I really like that. So, take time. Look at what's going on around you. Look at the machines, look at nature, look at all of the things in your space, in your community, and just find some wow. Another habit of mind is thinking flexibly. This could be you telling yourself, maybe I should think of this another way. Or, how did they see this? Does my friend think similarly to me? Or do we have different ideas of how this could get done? Being able to listen to new perspectives, but also try things a new way, it gives you so many options, and it lets you start to think about yourself and your work and go, maybe there's not just one way to do this. Somebody's trying it a different way. Maybe that way will work for me too. Then you've got 2 strategies or more. Changing perspectives and looking at things the way someone else does or from a new or different angle, it allows you to think flexibly. Another habit of mind is finding humor. This is laughing. Find reasons to laugh. There are things in life that are whimsical, they're unexpected, they're silly, and you do them, I do them. Silliness is everywhere. So find time to be able to laugh at yourself, to laugh at other things. But remember, if you're laughing at something and you notice someone's getting upset, they might think you are laughing at them. They might think it's mean. So when you are out there finding the humor, make sure that you're not finding the humor at the expense of someone else. That means you're not laughing at somebody. Maybe you're laughing along with something that is funny. Or you ask the person, what do you think that's funny? Another habit of mine is striving for accuracy and precision. This looks like checking it again. This looks like teaching your brain to say things like, check my work. Is that right? How do I know? And you can use those different strategies we just talked about to help you check your work. If you are always working to do your best, if you are trying to set high standards for yourself, and if you are looking for ways to constantly improve, something you need to practice and develop as a habit is checking your work. So, for example, if I have a teacher who asks me the question, what's 2 plus 2? I might know that already in my brain and go, oh, okay, it's 4. But checking my work, even just quickly, maybe with my fingers, maybe with something I have nearby, I can do, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. And just that, the visual of me checking, of me saying it, that makes sure that I'm continuously practicing those skills. So there's a time to be fast, but then there's a time to be precise and accurate. Check your work. Another habit of mine is creating, imagining, and innovating. So using your brain, trying all these habits, letting your mind wander, it allows you to generate new ideas, new ways of doing things, and like I said before, the more you do something, the more fluently or more quickly, more accurately you'll be able to do it. So when you are inventing, when you're trying, when you're creating, when you're imagining, don't forget that that is part of the process. Maybe things work out exactly the way you wanted them today. Maybe you need a little bit help to get where you are. But part of this habit building is the act of doing it and being messy, trying new things. Oh my goodness, another habit of mine is this, managing impulsivity. Ooh, this is one that I like to work on. It's about taking your time, thinking before you're acting, remaining calm and thoughtful, and being deliberate, or choosing your actions carefully. You have the ability to allow your brain to focus when your body is calm. So managing impulsivity for me looks like taking a few deep breaths before I get started. It might look like doing stretches. It might look like taking a moment to close my eyes and tell myself, okay, this is what I'm doing, here's my plan, and I have all of the power within me to make it happen. You have the ability to let thoughts come into your brain and react to them, or you can let thoughts come into your brain and let them pass. You do not have to act on every thought that comes in your brain. And that's part of the hard work of managing impulsivity as a habit. Now, thinking about communicating with clarity and precision, this is another habit. When you are clear, when you speak clearly, when you take time to make sure that your words are heard, when you make sure that you are using the words that express your feelings very clearly, it helps other people know what's going on with you. So when you are upset, hurt, frustrated, excited, energized, no matter what you are feeling, the other people in your life, they cannot read your mind and they cannot feel it in the same way that you feel it. So being a great communicator involves the habit of communicating clearly and with precision. If I am simply crying, nobody knows if I'm crying because I am happy and something is just so overwhelming that it's coming out through tears, or people don't know if I'm sad or hurt or scared. So finding those words to describe how you feel and what made you feel that way is a really great way of developing this habit of mind. And our final habit of mind is listening with understanding and empathy. So working to understand others can be challenging because what it is you taking the time to listen without sharing your thought, without sharing your ideas, or, oh, that one time when, or, oh, I did that. Listening with understanding and with empathy means that you are using all of your brain power. You're devoting that mental energy to another person, to their ideas, to their thoughts, and you're making an effort to understand their point of view and emotions. When you are listening without you waiting to talk, you are opening up your mind to hear somebody else's perspective. Remember, a few habits of mind ago, we were talking about how important it is to hear other people's way of doing things. Just remember, there is a time for you to talk, there is a time for you to share, and there are times where we are just practicing listening to people, and this is one of those habits. So, I want you to know that it has been an absolute pleasure to go through these habits of mind with you, all 16 of them. And if you need to practice these, if you need to try them out, or if you need to hear them again, feel free to stop the video and go back to whichever habit you need. Good luck to you, and enjoy the process of practicing.